Howdy, folks. Hellcorrects here. Welcome to episode 11 from Thoughts from the Inner Sphere. What we have today is the Dervish, the 55-ton medium mech that sees itself on the battlefield quite a bit, at least in my campaigns and those that play with me or against me. It's pretty popular. Now, what we have here is a 55-ton mech that is a 585 mover. So check off the old jump jets. Good deal. Only carries 10 heat sinks. It's kind of a problem. And then you have 120 armor on this thing, which is 7.5 tons, which can be kind of a problem. And it carries two LRM 10s and two medium lasers and two SRM 2s. Now, the whole role of the Dervish on the battlefield, at least from my standpoint, is that I use the Dervish as an escort for my light mechs. All right. So it's a fire support mech, pure and simple. I have it go in, find a position while the scouts do their job, and I'm just rain in those LRM 10s from a distance on your target. And it does a pretty decent job doing that when it's in the support role of a scout lance. If you get into a larger battle where you're going to have some mediums and heavies in there, it has a tendency to get ripped apart really quick because of that lack of armor. Because with only 120 points, it's gonna doesn't take very long to open up a hole someplace in this mech, because when you look at it, the torsos only carry 3 items. All right, 2 crits go to your LRM 10, and then one for the ammo. All right, so when you look at that, if somebody punches through the armor and gets a chance of critical and does a crit, you got a 1 in 3 shot of hitting the ammo. And one of the problems with the Dervish I've seen many times, it becomes a crater on the battlefield. It hits that ammo rack and kablooey, it's gone. There's nothing left. There's been a couple times where I've seen it, where I've done it myself, where I see a Dervish hit into the side armor, get a chance of criticals. You roll the snake eyes for location from the like say the right side, and oh, the magic BB went through, didn't punch through the armor, just did some damage, did the crit chance, got 1 crit, the 1 in 3 chance, and I hit the ammo, and you got an entire mech that just gone. 11 salvos of LRM 10 armor is just it's 110 points, and there's nobody that can handle that because it just goes internal structure and it's gone. So that's the biggest drawback that I see with this mech, is a problem with armor. But if you're running it around in the support mode of lighter mechs and then it's got more armor, it seems to do the job a lot better. You don't want to get this mech into a certain campaign where it's got to face heavy hitters. And if it is in the battle with heavy hitters, you want to keep it in the back, hidden behind, so it's not going to get a focus fire, because I've seen where a couple awesomes, which are awesome, love those things, and suddenly it gets hit with 5 PPCs, takes a bunch of damage into a couple hits into the torso from a couple PPCs. They go right in, critical, bam, hits the ammo, gone. Now, what I usually like to do when I'm doing the support role of these things is with let's say you're in a city fight, those jump jets come in handy, so you can reposition from behind one building to another, behind another building, keeping yourself under cover while the scouts do their job. Finding, let's say you got to drop a building or you got to hit a bunker complex or something and you don't have line of sight, but this thing can just rain the fire in indirectly and do the job. Or as I like to do if I'm in open terrain. I'm going to try this. All right, I have woods here. I got a hill here. I'm always trying to move as fast as I can if I'm in the open and able to be shot at, is to skew those modifiers in my favor as much as possible. So there's something better to shoot at. All right. And which is kind of hard in one way is when you're supporting yourself. This is a support mech for your scouts. So the scouts, a lot of times, are moving even faster. They have better modifiers. The Dervish may be the target they want to take a shot at. But if you keep yourself at a good distance, like medium range, and a lot of scouts don't have a lot of heavy weapons. If they do, it's usually like an LRM-5 or something like that. So it can take those kind of hits, because those kind of like gnat hits, death by 1,000 paper cuts type of thing. Not like a PPC or an AC-20 or an LRM-20 or an LRM-15 for that matter. Those things can wear this thing down really, really quick. Now, just what variants does this thing have? You look at the variants on this mech, there isn't very many that they even notice. The biggest ones that I've never noticed is that they try to change it to more direct fire weaponry, or getting rid of the SRMs in favor of more armor. There's a whole bunch of other ones out there, but for 3025 standard variants, there's really nothing of warrant. And I like the standard version of the Dervish. Does its job just fine for what I do with it. Now, the only thing I would say that I have done in the past is taking 1 ton. It's like it has 2 SRM2s and it has a ton of ammo for each. Really? Seriously? You need that much? Taking 1 of those tons and moving it into more armor, beefing it up a little bit, making it a little more survival. That's one option. The other option is to drop off entire SRM pack and leave it with 1 SRM2 and 1 ton of ammo, and move 2 tons into the more armor. Alright. One way or the other. Or another heatsink. There's another way to go at it. But in the standard version, what I always like to have done or do is 1 ton goes into standard ammo, SRM2 ammo, and then I have 1 ton into Infernos. And I like Infernos because you can use those against infantry, starting fires, putting a couple SRM Infernos into those guys that love to run their mechs hot. Well, guess what? Here's another 6. You're going to possibly, especially those guys that have mechs that have any type of ammo on board, and they run their mechs hot to begin with, and you hit them with an SRM2 Inferno, guess what? You may put them over the scale and then cook them off. And for just an SRM2, yeah, take the shot. Now, other than that, the Dervish is a pretty decent mech. I like it. I use it in the standard version, and typically I don't do anything with it, really change it too much until the 3050, and then that's just like one thing is going with like double heat sinks, but that's for another time and era. We're not talking about that because we haven't reached about those secret the little things working in the Skunk Works and the periphery. So this is episode 11 with the Dervish, and you guys have a great day. Hulker X out.